Oh, it's been a while. Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is not going to be my Lara Jean baking video, although that is coming up soon, I promise. I have all the ingredients, I have everything ready. I just need to have like time alone in the apartment so I can use the kitchen while I film. So it's coming. I'm very excited about it, but not yet. However, I did want to film another video because, well, as you can tell from the title of the video, this is going to be a romance recommendations video, which is very new for me because I was never a huge reader of romance, particularly adult romance. Like, I love romance stories in general. In YA and my fantasy, I love that I love it when it has a romance. I know a lot of people are like, it's not necessary to the story. I understand. I agree. However, you can pry the romance from my cold dead hands because I love it so much. But I never really, well, I mean, I never really read contemporary to begin with, like more like realistic stuff. I've always been more of a fan of the fantasy, as you can kind of tell by my favorite shelf over here. But recently I started getting into new adult and adult romance, and I've been loving it. So I'm going to share a few of my favorites that I have read. Now, these are all probably going to be books that you have seen around because they're very popular. Like I said, I'm still very new to this genre, so think of this more as like romance for beginners. And that being said as well, if you guys have any recommendations for me, I'd gladly appreciate it because I am in love with love at the moment. At least fictional love. Let's just jump into the video. I'm gonna start out with the first one, the one that started it all. I really blame Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads. This is like her all-time favorite book. I'm pretty sure she's read it like 10 times by now. It is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. It features a hate to love relationship, which is another one of like my weaknesses. I love hate to love relationships. So this is about two rival secretaries who work at this major publishing house that was formed from a merger of two failing companies, I guess you could say, and they work for each of the original two CEOs of the company. They hate each other and they're always competing against each other. They have separate games to compete with each other like on a daily basis, and this kind of focuses on them getting from that point of like hating each other to like learning more about each other and to eventually falling in love. Of course, all of these are going to be falling in love stories. Both of these characters I found to be relatable in very different ways for me, and I love them both. I love their character progression. Lucy, I particularly like her because she is very, she doesn't deal with her feelings and her emotions very well, kind of like I do in a way, and I found her so incredibly relatable. Josh as well, he is kind of a little bit misunderstood. He is kind of a very shy person, but it doesn't really come across that way to a lot of people, and I found that particularly relatable for myself as well. Also their relationship, just the way that it develops, I really loved it so much. They're just so good for each other. Josh is boyfriend goals. Like, I love him so much. Like, I love him so much. Also really sexy, really cute, really funny. Like, I just really like it. I don't know what that voice was, I'm sorry, but yeah, highly recommend it. Next one is another one that you have probably seen around. It is The Wedding Date by Jasmine. Guillory, I think is how you pronounce her name. This one features the fake dating trope, which is another one of my favorites. Like, fake dating and hate to love, I think are, yeah, I think they're my top two favorite tropes. Just so good. Also like contract relationships. I blame my love of like Korean dramas for that. There's so many like contract relationships in Korean dramas. It's just, oh, it's so good. Also, this features an interracial relationship. Alexa is a black woman who works in Oakland, by the way. This is set in the Bay Area. Random, but I'm from the Bay Area, so it was exciting to see, like, you know, kind of the area where I'm at be represented in the book. That's always cool. And Joshua is white. So these two, it starts out, they meet in an elevator and they have this kind of very instant connection, I would say. And Josh is in need for a date for his ex-girlfriend's wedding, which is going to be a wedding that he is going to be the best man in. So he's kind of desperate for a date for the wedding, and he ends up asking Alexa, and they go, and then things kind of develop from there. Again, romance is great, the characters are great. Also, because this is an interracial relationship, even though it is like a like relationship, there is a discussion of race, and it comes across very naturally in the text, but it's still very poignant, and how it affects particularly Alexa as she is being introduced to Josh's friends and his co-workers and stuff like that. Like, it's something that is brought up very naturally and very well, I thought. And yeah, I really appreciated that, because obviously that's kind of like a big elephant in the room when it comes to interracial relationships. And I really liked how it was brought up in text. I actually already pre-ordered the second book, which is coming out, I think, next year. Or is it October? I pre-ordered like the next books of these authors and the other two that I'm going to be talking about. That's how you know that I kind of fell in love with these books, because I already have books number 2 on check. But this one is going to feature Carlos, who is the best friend of Drew in this. So it's going to be his relationship, and I'm hoping that we'll see these two in that book, because I want to like updated on what they're up to. I love them a lot, and like, oh, it's just so good, guys. Seriously, I'm gonna say that about all these books, but they're really good. The next book that I do have a physical copy of it, but I actually lent it out to my friend because I really wanted her to read it, because I told her that I started reading like a lot of these like romance books, and she was intrigued, and none of my friends are readers, really. So whenever they show even the slightest interest in reading, I like want to bombard them with like a shelf, but I pulled myself back and I just let her borrow this book. I am a little sad that I let her borrow it, because I have been tempted to reread it or reread my favorite parts of it, but she has the copy, and I'm just like, okay, should I get another copy and just let her have that one? Maybe that's a possibility. We'll see. Anyway, the book that I'm talking about is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. I love this book so much. This one is about a woman named Stella who is autistic, and she hires a male escort to teach her about sex and love and relationships, and obviously this is a romance. We know where things go. What I love about this, other than of course like I just mentioned, this one is technically like a contract relationship and also fake dating, so you know, just ticking all the boxes for me. It's also own voices, because I believe that Helen Hoang herself is autistic, and the love interest is part Vietnamese. Like, again, another character that I found myself really relating to in a way, because I have anxiety. I understand that like anxiety is nothing like autism per se, but there are situations, like for me, I'm very awkward in person at times, and I don't really know how to deal with people sometimes, and I found myself relating to Stella a lot in that sense. Like, obviously not to the degree that she does, because like I said, anxiety and autism, very different things, but it was still nice to see her open up, come out of her shell, and also have a love interest who understands why she is the way she is and tries to like help her but not push her, like still kind of like help her come out of her shell but well within her limits. It was just a really beautiful relationship, and I liked them together. I don't know, I really love this so much, and like I highly recommend it. And last but not least, we have a historical romance. Yes, I have delved into the Bodice Ripper historical romance section. This is something that I never thought I would like. Like, I always found the covers to be so cheesy. They never really drew my interest until this book. Everybody was hyping this book up so much on my Twitter, and I gave in. I borrowed it from the library. The book was available on Hoopla, so I just listened to the audiobook, and oh my god, it was so good. The Duchess Deal by Tessa. This is the first in a new series of hers, and this features, again, fake dating. Well, I guess this is more like arranged marriage kind of thing, like contract marriage. It features a seamstress who finds herself in an arranged marriage with a duke. Basically, she bursts into his life in a wedding dress. He immediately proposes marriage to her, and things kind of roll off from there. Basically, her duties are to birth the duke a son and then go on her merry way, which doesn't sound very, like, honestly, it doesn't sound very like feminist. It doesn't sound very like empowering or anything, but you know what? It's so good, guys. she is no pushover. She kind of lets him know exactly what she wants. She kind of plays him a little bit, not gonna lie. It's kind of cute. Like, they're just so good for each other. He has a bit of a tormented past. Ugh, don't the best ones always do that? Relationship really develops, obviously, from that point of like a contractual thing, because she is very like, I'm not just gonna be here for you to use as you like and then you have me send me away. Like, if I'm gonna be in this, like, I'm at least gonna get to know you and you're gonna get to know me, and then obviously that opens up feelings and, you know, it messes things up, and it's delicious and I love it, and it's so good. Highly recommend it. If you have been like me and you've just been like judgmental, I guess, about like the bodice ripper like historical romance thing, like, start out with this. I think this will open up your mind like it did for me, because it's so good. And like I said, the second book is coming out, and that one is going to be about a side character, which we are actually introduced to her and her love interest as well. Like, they have a bit of a brief meeting in this book, so I'm just like, already from that meeting I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be so good. It's gonna come out soon, like in a couple of days actually, I think. So I'm excited. That is it for my recommendations for romance books. Like I said, this is a very kind of beginner's guide to romance because I've just started getting into it, but I really wanted to share a few of the books that I've just really enjoyed. And because I have read so many books, I do have like other categories that I kind of want to go into, like my favorite recent like contemporary, like YA contemporary reads, or like my favorite fantasy, my favorite manga. I've been reading a lot of manga lately. I've particularly been reading a lot of shoujo, so if any of you are interested in me doing like a few of my favorite shoujo manga series recommendations video, please let me know and I'll do that next. Yeah, but that being said, that is it for this video. I really do hope that you guys pick up some of these. Like, they're so much fun. If you have read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them. If you have any recommendations, again, please send those to me. I'm really interested in those. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!